Hi Bindu, how are you? Thank you for your time today. And it was, of course, lovely to meet you at the road show. Honestly, we would have preferred to make this presentation in person in your office. We also know how important some of these things are for you. So we are really doing the second best thing we could have done, recording this presentation in the same way as I would have presented it. Bindu, when we spoke last time, the brief you gave Amit and I was, and I remember you saying, we need the largest piece we want to see changing is the way our own employees, some 4,500 of them, and then our members, about 2.5 lakhs, how these two sets start to demonstrate sustainability in their behavior, how they perceive us and over time start to notice that we are changing and becoming more sustainable and responsible. So, right from explaining what sustainability is, the basics, what responsible tourism looks and feels like, to what behaviors go with it, to measuring it, and then communicating what we have done in the area of sustainability to our guests, both current and potential, that you said is the larger integrated scope in your mind. You also emphasize that our employees and our guests are at the heart of finally being able to move up the value chain in terms of the perceived value of our business in the hospitality sector. In the presentation that follows, you will see that in our thinking at Aspire, we have gone beyond being your impact measurement and reporting partner. We keep impact measurement and reporting at the heart of our work and then build on that and have taken a more strategic view in helping you create a case for sustainable, responsible tourism using the internal and external communication that drives all this. Okay, so let's start. And this should really be a no-brainer for all of us. Now, responsible tourism is no longer just an option. It's a necessity for brands wanting to stay relevant in a market that is becoming extremely conscious by the day, especially in the tourism sector. We already know that guests, especially high-value travelers, are willing to pay a premium for brands committed to sustainability and responsible tourism. For us at Mahindra Holidays, this translates to not just attracting new guests, but also deepening the loyalty of our existing customers. And as a result, increasing our room rates over time by literally embodying responsible tourism in every facet of our brand. For the hospitality sector specifically, Aspire Impact has been working on a simple yet effective scale to understand where our stakeholders are in their journey of understanding what sustainable and responsible tourism is. We call it the Aspire Impact Scale for Responsible Tourism Awareness. We've developed this scale to help visualize where Mahindra Holidays guests are and employees are currently in terms of responsible tourism awareness. This scale not only benchmarks awareness but also guides the journey from minimal engagement, where people are unaware and low engagement levels, to full advocacy, where people, our staff and guests, start to champion sustainable and responsible behavior and demand that our behavior is such and are ready to pay for it. This, of course, takes time and effort and resources and is a great way to map where we currently are and then measure progress, periodically. Like Amit always says, measure it to get it done. Starting at unaware and moving up to advocate, we can help guests and employees advance along this scale, driving real behavior change that eventually leads to real impact. Now, to move people up the awareness scale, we follow a very structured four-phase approach. Let me give you a snapshot of the approach first, then I will talk about each step in detail. First, we assess current awareness levels of both our guests and employees. This will tell us what work is really needed and the direction we should take. Step 2, we'll introduce engaging content that educates and inspires both our staff as well as our customers. Step 3, we'll help identify and implement initiatives designed to embed responsible tourism practices into everyday experiences. And finally, step 4, we'll measure progress, allowing us to track awareness and behavioral shifts over time. This cycle repeats till we can create an organization that starts to breathe this change. Let me now explain each step in detail. We'll begin with the assessment phase to establish what we call a baseline of awareness. By using surveys and direct feedback and interviews, we'll gauge the existing understanding of responsible tourism amongst our guests and employees. This initial assessment is critical to the process and will later guide the content and initiatives that follow, allowing us to tailor our approach based on real data. Phase 2. In this phase, Aspire will create a range of content to engage both guests and employees. We'll produce films, podcasts, interviews, training content that both educates as also brings Mahindra Holidays' sustainability story to life for our guests. Actually, whatever it takes. And this is where a lot of labor and investment goes. This is what brings behavior change and will require all of us to get together: ops, training, HR, CSR, brand, and the leadership. Other than training program level content for our staff in multiple languages, what really resonates with guests is stories from local communities, how we source local, how our cuisine brings the guests closer to the destination, how local art and artists are engaged and supported by us, how we give back to the communities. All these stories move people. And each of these formats is designed to inform, inspire, and ultimately lead guests and employees towards greater awareness and engagement. The behind the scene of a resort, its people, where do they come from, what is their life like, and how Mahindra Holidays is integral to this ecosystem. Phase 3 is beyond content, and we will need help of all the ops team here. We'll introduce practical initiatives to encourage responsible tourism behaviors. For guests, this might mean providing eco-conscious activity options or digital guides on sustainable practices at different Mahindra properties. For employees, we'll offer resources to the training team to empower our staff to become ambassadors of responsible tourism. These initiatives will ensure that sustainability becomes a part of everyday conversations and experiences for both employees and guests. In the final phase, we'll measure progress periodically to track how awareness and behavior linked to awareness changes and evolves over time. Aspire's in-depth reporting tools will provide a clear view of where guests and employees stand on the awareness scale. This data will also allow all of us at Mahindra Holidays to see the impact of these initiatives and make adjustments to, continually drive engagement and awareness. You see, positioning Mahindra Holidays as a sustainable and responsible brand doesn't just drive awareness. It directly impacts brand equity and can lead to premium pricing. Hospitality brands perceived as sustainable are able to charge more for the same rooms as customers associate their value with responsible choices. By investing in sustainable awareness and measuring its impact, we can attract high-value guests willing to pay a premium for eco-conscious accommodations. At Aspire, we will provide the rigorous impact assessment, tracking, and reporting, and our comms team will craft the engaging narratives and content that inspire behavioral change. This ensures that Mahindra Holidays' commitment to sustainability resonates at every level, from data-driven impact reports to rich, story-led content that builds brand loyalty. To begin this journey, we propose starting with a simple baseline assessment and developing a targeted content strategy. From there, we will run a pilot campaign at a few Mahindra properties to gauge guest and employee engagement. With periodic reviews, we track our progress and adjust as needed, ensuring that Mahindra Holidays sees measurable growth in sustainable tourism awareness. So to wrap up what I've said till now, when we start, we measure how sustainable and responsible we are today. We understand where our employees and guests are in their understanding of responsible tourism. We then use content and training tools to move them up the sustainability scale that I shared, and we communicate our own initiatives throughout the process to our guests and communities, constantly focused on behavior change. We measure often and we tweak our communication often till substantial change can be seen. Finally, this is going to not be easy or quick with the number of people in our staff and guests. We have to look at it as a strategic initiative driven by the leadership with a large commitment to see this change happening. The good thing is that this is also great for our bottom line. So people should be able to see the value rather quickly. I will end the presentation here and wait for any questions. If you are watching this while I am around, please feel free to ask or just email Amit or me and we will quickly respond. Thank you for your time and for this opportunity to be of service to Mahindra Holidays. See you soon.